Hey everyone, I'm Selena Hill, and this is the new norm on Black Enterprise, where I speak to dynamic leaders, entrepreneurs, and public figures about their latest projects and the impact they're making in today's world. Today, I have the privilege to speak with Aris Singleton, the CEO of tgin, which stands for Thank God It's Natural, a natural hair beauty brand for textured hair that is currently sold in 12,000 retailers across the country, which includes Walmart, Target, Sally Beauty, and many other stores. Aris, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Selena, thank you so much for having me.
So I know about TGIN because I've been a fan of the brand for years now. I actually used the shampoo when I did this braid out. so,
Love it.
um, but for those who don't know, tell us about TGIN and what differentiates it from other natural hair products.
Yes. So, again, my name is Aris Singleton, the CEO of TGIN, which is founded by my late aunt, Chris-Tia Donaldson. TGIN, we're sold in over 12,000 retailers, Walmart, Ulta Beauty, Sally Beauty, and you can now find us across the pond internationally. And what differentiates TGIN is we are intentionally formulated. We're not just creating products just to create products. We want to hear from our consumers. So we're very thoughtful and intentional when we're creating. And we also have a philanthropic arm. So a portion of the proceeds that go to TGIN are donated to our nonprofit breast cancer foundation, TGIN Foundation.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the founder because you are the CEO and the face of TGIN, but your late aunt, Chris-Tia Donaldson, was the founder. Can
Yes.
you talk about what inspired her to create TGIN and when she founded it?
Yeah, so Christia was a Harvard graduate and a Harvard lawyer. So when she graduated from Harvard, she moved to Chicago and she got her first big girl job at one of the top firms here in Chicago. And, while Christia is, going into this new phase of her life, she said, I really want to just come into myself. I want to wear my natural curls. I want to wear my natural hair. Now, Selena, this is back in 2003 where rocking the natural was a no-go. And so she created this product line because there were no products for her 4C hair type. That's so she could wear her hair natural. So she created her own. But ultimately what led her to create TGIN is the fact that, being natural was not popular. And she's like, I just want to be myself. I want to create something for myself and for other women.
I love that. And tell us the meaning behind the name. Thank God it's natural.
So most people don't know TGIN started off with a book titled Thank God I'm Natural. And Christia wrote this book in 2009. So at this point, she's been an attorney for about 6 years. And it goes through her journey just as a child, with my grandmother perming her hair, with her cutting all her hair off right as she was got her first job in Chicago as an attorney. And it just details the whole natural hair journey. So it started with a book, Thank God I'm Natural. And she got the title because she was like, oh my gosh, I can finally be myself. Thank God I'm natural. And then the book, this was in 2009 with the natural hair movement when it was really popping. I know you remember that. And Christina garnered a following, and they're like, okay, you wrote this book, that's great, but we need products. So for a couple years, Christina really, gave her all. She began to ideate, whip up stuff in the kitchen, and then that's how, thank God, it's natural. The product line was birthed.
That's amazing. So I'm happy that you walked us through the journey of its creation and its launch, and of course, Christia's vision. But what about your journey to becoming CEO and leading the legacy of this brand?
Honestly, I would have to say this is destiny and this is where I'm supposed to be. So I started with TGIN in 2009 when it was just a book. So Chris-Tia had a website, and Chris-Tia lived in Chicago and I lived in Detroit. So we were selling t-shirts, books, oils, and soaps. That's all we had before we had products. And I was literally in high school, Selena, shipping out t-shirts and other oils and products after school. So I'd go to school, I'd check the online store, walk to the post office, and I'm shipping out stuff. But it's funny, my senior year, I got fired because I'm like, I want to go to prom. I'm doing this. And I didn't communicate with her, what I was doing. So she's like, people are looking for their orders and you have their stuff and you're not communicating. So I got fired. And then my freshman year of college, I came back to TGIN and I worked with her a little bit. I did a little marketing, social media, as social media was getting popular in like 2011, Instagram. And then I left again. And in 2017, Christy is like, hey, I need you to come back. Just help me for 6 months while my assistant is on maternity leave. I'm like, okay, Selena, it's been 7 years and I have worked in every department. It was meant to be. So I say that this is my destiny because I have tried to get away so many times because I'm like, I don't want to be the niece who works for her aunt her entire career, but I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Did you have other aspirations for yourself or other visions?
So yes, I actually went to grad school. Couple in 2021, I started grad school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was trying to figure it out. I've always been a businesswoman. In church as a young girl, I would be selling stuff. I would sell food after, they taught me how to count the money, the tithes, and how to track that. And I knew I was destined to be a businesswoman,
Mm,
but I didn't really I didn't really know how to navigate it. So
mhm,
TGIN has really helped me grow.
mhm,
It's helped me. I mean, I have learned so much.
mm,
I am 30 years old, and
mhm.
I'd have to argue that I have the expertise of a 50-year-old in terms of like business.
I mean, it does seem like you're destined
Hmm.
to, you inherited this company. Your name is Aris, first of all.
Come on.
You inherited a multi-million-dollar beauty brand. Your expertise lies in business. As a young black woman who is known for their hair, literally, there's no one better
Yes.
in this space and in this industry than someone like you. And I wanted to talk about, some of the other things you learned directly from your late aunt. What did you learn about business from her? Either something that she taught you directly or just by observing her?
So, my background is in finance. So, my bachelor's degree is in finance. So, I wanted to focus on finance. And when I came back to TGIN, Chris-Tia had me working in operations. I'm like, well, that's not what my degree is in, but I'm able to do so. Chris-Tia let's see, I worked 5 years with her before she passed. And Chris-Tia had me in every department in the business. I said, I just want to focus on finance. So I'm in marketing, I'm in operations, social, sales. I'm like, why am I going to these sales conventions or, in these different meetings? And I did not realize it at the time, but Chris-Tia was preparing me for a time as this. So I learned so much with her from being under her leadership. But if I would have to point out one thing, I think it's to trust yourself. Christia always told me, "Hey, if you're ever in doubt, look at the facts, look at the data, but ultimately go with your gut. Trust yourself." And a lot
Mm.
of decisions have been made with I'm like, "Okay, God, I'm gonna go with this." and it's worked for me.
Speaking of trusting yourself, you mentioned that you're only 30 years old.
Mhm.
Literally one of the youngest CEOs in the textured hair industry, if not, the youngest of a major brand. What challenges have you faced being so young, and what are some of the lessons that you're learning in real time?
So one of the things I would say, one of the challenges is this industry is dominated by founders or people who purchase brands, right? And then you have me who inherited the brand. So when 2.5 years ago, when I became CEO, I kind of found myself in the middle and I
Mhm.
didn't know what to do. It's like I knew everything that, Chris-Tia taught me, but it was still just like a gut punch. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like
Mhm.
I'm like a multi-million dollar company just landed in my lap. So that's one of the challenges. But I have definitely worked through that and I own it. I show up, okay? And I show up as my authentic self. My 30 years old with blue hair, and I'm like, I'm here to stay. So that's definitely one of the challenges. But I did have a moment where I didn't trust myself, even though that's what she taught me, because Christia again led this organization for so many years, and I was under her, and I watched her, and she would empower me to make decisions. But if I made a mistake, I had Christia to fall back on, right?
Mhm.
I didn't have that. I was the ultimate decision maker. So if I did something and it backfired, it was on me. So I think that's honestly one of the scariest things that I'm still navigating through.
It's just not right, because you're the face. Then everything stops. It starts with you. Things
Absolutely.
go well, and when things go wrong. So how do you how are you navigating that? And can you talk more about just that transition from an employee working for your aunt's company to now running your company, running this company?
So it has been a long transition. I'm the type of person that very much I'm on the ground, I'm in the weeds, I'm in the problem, right? Trying to solve it. Whereas a CEO needs to be at 30,000 and kind of looking down, and you hire really great
Mhm.
people to manage what's on the ground. And honestly, for about a year and a half, I was still down here. So I'm supposed to be up here, strategic thinking, moving the business along, but I'm stuck in the weeds. So finally, I got to the point, I've had some really great mentors. My mother is my COO, and we had to, sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting. She's like, hey, you either have to be down here or up here. And another thing was I didn't trust anybody. This was like my aunt's baby. So I'm like, I have to take care of the baby. And I'm like, I cannot do it all. So it really got to a point, a breaking point where it's like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I have to hire great people, which I did. I have an amazing team. And now I can be up here 30,000 feet, focusing on strategy and moving the business along.
You said so many important things just about, again, how a CEO operates,
Mhm.
right? And how you have to sort of lead and can't necessarily do everything. You have to delegate. Have you made new hires? Like, how are you putting people and things in place, and like systems in place, so that the business runs and operates smoothly?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that. So I, yes, I'm one of the youngest CEOs. I'm 30, but all my experience really has been with TGIN. So I don't know everything. And I don't act as if I do know everything. One thing I do know I know how to get the right people in place. I've only had, certain amount of experience here with TGIN. So I know how to ask questions. I know how to make great hires. Um, so I realized, Eris, you don't have the expertise in marketing. I know enough interest now, but you don't know, the expert, you don't have sales is not your background. You know enough. So I had to stop and pause. I'm like, okay, hey, this is what the business needs. Let's go and put those in place. And I have really great mentors and other leaders in this industry that want to see me win and want to see me successful. And we're able to say, hey, like, I know, I do essentially the same thing, but we want to help you. We want to help you see this thing through. So I'm
So
very,
important.
mm-hmm.
So important to have people in place, and to invest in the business by hiring good talent. Another thing I wanted to talk about, Aris, is your newest product collection, Miracle Styling Collection. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So when you just say Miracle Styling Collection, I just get chills. So this collection, our newest collection, it's a styling collection, and it has been in the works for 2 years. And what's so special about it is it was inspired by my aunt's journey to Bali after she finished chemotherapy. So after she finished, she's like, you know what? I need some time. I'm going to go to Bali. So when she came back, she would not stop talking about how peaceful Bali was and, just some eye opening things that she saw there. So I said, we need to come with new innovation. So why don't my mom and I said, you know what, let's get a product line that's dedicated to Chris-Tia. So not only did TGIN come with its first styling collection, but we are also paying homage to my late aunt in her time in Bali. And this brand,
Wow.
it's about self-care. It's more than just hair. It's really about taking care of yourself and the women holistically.
Why was it important to tie in wellness and take a holistic approach while promoting this new collection?
So, wellness, I feel like, your hair is wellness. Me taking care of my hair, getting a shampoo, getting a good scalp massage, getting it styled, that to me is part of self care and wellness. It's just important as me going to the gym, exercising, and also eating a balanced diet. So it is absolutely all about wellness.
And another part of wellness, is for some people is faith and
Mhm.
just the spiritual aspect. When you think of mind, body, and spirit, with a name like Thank God It's Natural, can you talk about just the role that faith has had personally in your journey and in building this brand?
So I have been a woman or a young lady of faith, since I could remember. Mom and dad introduced me to God at a young age. And as I began to grow, I'm like, okay, I know him for myself. Um, but there have been, I want to say my faith was tested when I became CEO because not only did I lose my boss, but I lost my aunt. I lost my best friend. And it was one of the, I would say, the ugliest times in my life, having to, I couldn't grieve. I just had to pick up and keep going. Again, this multi-million-dollar organization is relying on me to lead it. So I really had to lean into God. There was nothing that no one or anybody could say or do. It was nothing but God that got me through and got this company through and still standing, okay?
Girl, well, I know that is right. And I'm so glad that, TGIN does incorporate all parts of women, right? Because our hair is very important to us, obviously, our mind, our body, spirit, and faith. I think statistics show that Black women are actually the most religious sector of the country. So, yeah, so you're hitting all the key points when it comes to this target. Before we wrap up, I do want to ask you, Eris, what is next for TGIN?
So it has been a work in progress, but TGIN, one of Chris-Tia's last dreams, last wishes was to launch the brand internationally. And a lot of people don't understand the lift that goes into it. There's a lot of compliance, different ingredients that are in your brand in the US are not accepted overseas. So we have launched and we can be found in the UK, throughout Europe, Africa. I just
Wow.
her it's such I mean, I just think in awe that the brand can be found all over the world now. And that was one
Wow.
of her last wishes.
And you are fulfilling that. Eris, let everyone know where they can find TGIN products and particularly the new Miracle Styling Collection.
Yes, the Miracle Styling Collection is exclusively in Ulta Beauty. It can also be found at our website, tginatural.com. And anywhere else you can get hair care products, that's where you can find TGIN.
Amazing. Thank you again, Eris, for not only your time today, but the work that you're doing, the challenges that you're facing. It is so inspiring, especially to other young Black women in business. So thank you.